Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of Agile Dad, and it's time for today's episode of Daily Stand Up. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Today is our Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up, and I'm glad you could be here for it. These Friday episodes are always so uplifting and so inspirational. And this one, of course, starts with a small parable. So, there was a young boy who was one of three children. He was the middle child. And the older sibling was always busy with sports and other things going on. The younger sibling was too young to play. So it was that stuck in the middle sibling, right? And mom was always taking care of baby brother or running around trying to get older brother to wherever he needed to be. And that left middle child to spend a lot of time alone contemplating at times, what he could do to best capitalize on his time. And there were several times where he'd approach his father and say, "Hey, let's play a video game," or "Hey, let's draw a picture together," or "Hey, look what I made," or "Hey, look what I did." And the father, who was, during his COVID time, working at home quite a bit, he always entertained the son, but he entertained him in such a way that he said, "Hey, listen, I definitely want to see it, or I'd love to catch up with you, but not right now. I'm working. Not right now. I got to finish this, or not right now. I'm wrapping up this project." And what quickly happened is that without even noticing, the father's time was completely monopolized with getting work done and with finishing things, and not having time to spend with his child. Well, the middle child was going to school, of course, and the teacher made an observation and said, "Hey, I want you to learn more about what your parents do and what makes them successful." So the assignment was to find out what your mom or dad did for a living and to research that and to come back with information. And one of the students raised their hand and said, "What kind of information?" And they said, "Well, where do they go to do the work? Or are they working at home? What type of job is it? How much does it pay? Do you have to go to college for it?" In hopes to give people an educational structure or an idea for what types of jobs are out there and what types of things people do. And I thought that was incredibly interesting. So fast forward, so this young man, he goes and he says, "Hey, Dad, I have this really important school assignment. Can I please ask you three questions?" And yeah, and the dad's like, "Yeah, just make it fast. Go ahead." So he asked his dad, "What did he do?" And he asked his dad, "How much did he make?" And he asked his dad, the questions. And then for the next several weeks, he went out of his way to mow his yard and to mow other people's yards. And he went out of his way to do extra chores around the house and deep clean the bathrooms. And, mom was so impressed. And he was constantly working to earn that allowance. And then one day he walked in to the office of his dad and he says, "Hey, Dad," he says, "remember that project?" He says, "Yeah, what about it?" He says, "Well, I got an A on it." And his dad's like, "Well, congratulations. That's awesome." And he says, "Hey, can I ask you one more thing?" And the dad's like, "Oh, I wish. I'm just so busy right now. I'm slammed." And he says, "This will be quick." He says, "You said you make this much an hour, right?" And the dad's like, "Yeah." And the young man pulled out a small sandwich sized bag full of change, counted it out in front of his dad. It says, "Can I buy an hour of your time because I really want to go through the football outside with you?" That story has stuck with me for a long time because guilty as charged. When my kids were growing up, I was always busy and I always had other things going on and I was never fully engaged. And I guess this message rings true with how are we spending our time and what are we doing with our lives? Are we paying attention to the things that matter around us? Are we governing best use of our time? I mean, it tears my heart apart to think that this young child was in a position where he thought the only way that he could get his father's attention was that if he paid him for an hour of his time. I never want you or anyone else I'm close to be in that position. It's just so important that we figure out, based on the conversation we had last Friday, the good, better, and best things that we can do. And we carve out opportunities to say, "Hey, I know that there's important things that need to be done, but there's also more important things that I need to address." And I just feel like sometimes we don't take advantage of the time that we're given. And the truth is, and this is another one that I hear all the time, No one on their deathbed has ever said, quote, "Man, I wish I would have spent more time working. That would have made things so much better." You always hear people say, "I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent more time with my loved one. I wish I would have spent more time with other people." So I encourage you, my challenge for you this weekend and into next week is in your gratitude journal, write down something else that you're grateful for. But on top of that, I want you to find a way to carve out some time, either for each of your children or for a date night with your spouse, your wife, your significant other, your partner, whoever that might be. I just want you to better manage your time this week. And then come back and let us know, or let us know in the comments here. We'd love to learn more about what you did to help gain quality time with those that you care the most about. So that's going to do it for this Friday episode. I hope you have an amazing weekend. We'll catch you again on the flip side on Monday. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.